top right corner. What'd you say?
There's the first pile. I'm like, somebody's got a first pile somewhere. That is a big. That's a big. That is. Instead of having that two, you should have
Is this mic on? If everyone that's standing would find a table to have a seat at, you will have an opportunity to be at every table this evening. But we want to go ahead and get started here in just a minute or two. Anywhere you want to sit, we'll do that. meal entrees that are going to be coming this evening that we are waiting for, and so that's why we're sort of up here fumbling our thumbs. But if anybody is needing a drink that doesn't have one, if you raise your hand, then one of the staff members will come by and take your drink order. Your choices are water and lemonade. And hopefully, just a question, how many of you, this is the first time for you to be here in the college building? Nice. Well, I would encourage you as you leave this evening to take a minute and tour down on the first floor, especially the bookstore is down there, the library. Now they will both be closed, but they have glass fronts so you can see in them. And then all of the building, all of the classrooms that are on the north side of the building are TSTC's building. And those are open to where you can see inside I think the only classroom that you can't see in, obviously, is welding, but you can see into the plumbing and the electrical and the machine shop. And the whole idea with doing that was to help the TSTC students feel a part of the Temple College students. And any of the academic classes that those TSTC students need to take, they're doing that here at Temple College. So I think that we're going to go ahead and kind of get started. And again, I would like to just thank every one of you that have taken time out of your evening to come and be a part of this setting the table for the future. We've got, I think most all of our council members are here. We've got Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla Perez, wave your hand. We've got Councilmember Smith, Councilmember Cano, Councilmember Prince. I'm Mayor Holland. Councilmember Yesti will probably be here, but he drives from Austin. So he's going to want to be at the table that talks about transportation and jobs in Hutto. I know that I can speak for the council in just saying thank you all, and I'm sure that I'm speaking for the city staff to just thank you all for coming out and helping us to look into the future for the city of Hutto. We have a roadmap that we call the Strategic Guide to 2025, and that was first put together by the council and I believe adopted in 2007. Annually, we review and revise the strategic guide. And what that does is, like I said, we think of it as a roadmap, and it helps us to look at the direction that the community is going and the goals that we wish to achieve. So one of the strategic policies in this roadmap is called the Growth Guidance Policy, and I want to read to you what the Growth Guidance Policy says. It's the desire of the Hutto City Council to achieve the orderly growth and development of the city by maintaining and following a comprehensive plan which promotes beneficial and appropriate land uses and supporting infrastructures. And within that growth guidance policy, two of our strategic goals are to develop a comprehensive plan specifically designed to meet Hutto's current and future needs, and also to engage the community in developing and maintaining the comprehensive plan. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why you're here this evening, to be a part of this comprehensive plan and what that's going to look like. We want your input. We value your input. And this may be the first of these events, but it will not be the last of these events because everything is changing. And that's one of the things that we've had to learn within city staff and on council, that as a community grows, the needs change, the desires change, and we have to be fluid in being able to make those changes as they are necessary. So this evening is going to kind of be set up like speed dating, And we're going to be moving around from table to table. And I think that will probably give us some more information about that. But think of this as a brainstorming session where there are ideas. We're not going to spend a lot of time discussing whether it would work, but more importantly, is it a good idea? And what would that look like? And out later and figure out, exactly how it would work. But we certainly want your input. And you may leave here and think of 4 or 5 different things that, oh, I wish I'd have said that. Contact any council member, contact any city staff person and say, I was thinking about this or that. And we're all open to having that kind of conversation. We're very easy to contact. You can go on the city's Facebook page and holler out at one of us. You can go to the city website. All of our email addresses are there. So I encourage something that was going on this evening, about a thought that you had, please contact us. I'm going to turn it over to Will Guerin now, who is the director of our development services.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to the restaurants for being here to serve their great food for us tonight. And especially thank everyone who's here. This is extremely important tonight. Tonight's event is, like the mayor said, this ties in directly with the council's strategic guide and growth guidance policy. And this actually will directly go into our comprehensive plan. Hutto needs a community plan. We're due have input from the residents, and it needs to be reflective of what you guys want, how do you see for the future. So thank you for being here. Some of you may have been involved in the Sustainable Places project last year. That was a great plan as well. But this is going to be looking a little bit more comprehensively, a little bit more citywide. We're going to be asking a lot more of a broad spectrum of questions, some very specific questions, and we're going to be wanting some specific feedback as well. So tonight will be a little bit more, I guess, intensive, I guess you could say. So like the mayor said, there will be other opportunities actually beyond tonight too. Just thought of this idea. We've got the hashtag, if you're on social media, the hashtag is FutureHutto. So you can use that on Facebook and Twitter to stay part of this conversation. Otherwise, if you're not on social media, we've got the website for the comprehensive plan. I think it's hutto.gov/FutureHutto. We've got some signs around the room that list that. And if you're not on social media, you can always contact staff, like the mayor said, contact staff, myself, Eric Ragsdale, Karen, Micah, our council member at any time, and provide us your feedback and ask questions throughout this process. This is really just the beginning of this comprehensive plan process for Hutto. Restrooms down the hallway. I don't know if the mayor mentioned that or not, but restrooms down the hallway if you're not familiar with the facility. As far as just directions, you're already set at your table. Tonight's going to be a really just hard and fast process. We're only going to have 20 minutes at each station, and that's going to go by really fast. So there will be a timer up here. Sorry, yeah, so it's ready to go. So that'll be going. When the 20 minutes is up, we'll have 5 minutes between rotating stations. I believe we're going to go like this, kind of, what is that, counterclockwise. So, but we'll have 5 minutes for the restaurants to kind of serve you your next course and you kind of get settled in at the next station. Like the mayor said, tonight is a brainstorming activity, so nothing's off the table. Be very direct and blunt with your input. So that's what we need, and it's going to be a pretty fast process. So just don't hold back. and at the same time, please make sure give everyone at the table a chance to speak and make sure everyone has a chance to kind of get their input. Just a couple more things in your bag. You've got you should have 5 what we call Hippo bucks. Little things look like dollar bills with hippos on them. After you make the rounds at the end of the evening, before you leave, if you could invest your Hippo bucks, so to speak, at the 5 jars. There's going to be a jar at this table that represents each station, and basically this will be a chance for you to kind of invest where you think we as a city and a community need to be investing the most. And it's up to you however you want to divvy them up. If you want to put it all in one area or divvy them up evenly or whatever. Mike said put it all in parts. So it's up to you however you want to divvy them up. That'll kind of give us a really nice kind of broad idea of where we need to be looking at. And just the last thing, you may see some cameras around this live on the city's YouTube channel. So that's what's going on. That's why the cameras are here. So it's on the city's YouTube channel for those who are maybe at home or want to plug in remotely, and they'll have a chance to as well. With that, I think I'll just kind of kick things off. I don't know if our first course for Huttos is ready to go. Looks like they are. So thanks again. Let's get started. I think they're going to set the tables.
Okay, does everyone have their food? I'm actually not even sure what do you have there? Is it pot sticker? No, I'll get mine later. Thank you. All right, we'll go and get started. So this particular station is transportation. And so when we're talking about transportation, we're not just talking about automobiles and roadways. We're talking about sidewalks. We're talking about bikes, talking about public transit, so bus, rail, whatever the case may be. So really kind of think broadly. There are going to be really kind of three big questions that I'm going to ask in this 20 minutes. But before I do that, I'll just kind of make sure you're oriented here. This will be the main map that we work off of. This is obviously Hutto city limits map. It shows our whole ETJ and growth area. We've got different layers here as far as the future thoroughfares we have planned, future pedestrian mobility projects such as sidewalks and trails. And we have a few other things identified as well. Forth through Campo, like doing some intersection improvements on 79, doing some further sidewalks on 6060 North. So we kind of have both plans, CIP projects, and just kind of projects that maybe aren't necessarily in the CIP, but we just see as a huge need. For instance, the intersection improvements. I know there's a bit of a process to that with TxDOT and the railroad, but we're kind of getting that started. So this is kind of what we have now, but what we're really seeking input on is, are we on the right track? Where do we need to be focusing on? And just kind of where do we go from here? This map we're not going to really work off of, but I just wanted to have it up from a regional standpoint. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Project Connect, or if you heard of this going on. It's a regional effort that was kind of spearheaded by Capital Metro, who's the public transit provider in Austin. But they're starting to look more regionally and trying to expand their bus service outside of Austin. And Hutto is identified for future public transportation, definitely for bus, and that'll probably happen sooner. a lot sooner than rail, but we are identified as a possible rail stop as well through the Lone Star Rail process. They're kind of working with UP right now, Union Pacific, on logistically how that could work, if we could be a potential spur and still share the rail with UP, but reroute some of the UP traffic off that railroad. Lone Star Rail would be, the idea would actually be, sorry, I'll back up with that. Lone Star Rail would be a regional kind of Georgetown to San Antonio, somewhat high speed. I'm not sure exactly what the speed would be, but it would be a rail to connect the whole Austin-San Antonio region. So may tie into that directly. But anyway, this map kind of shows some potential routes identified connecting us to a transit, kind of a and then again, potentially the rail that would go along the Union Pacific route. But anyway, with that, we'll kind of go and jump in with these questions. We're seeking both verbal input, so go ahead and shout it out. Yvette's going to be taking notes here for the record, but you also have some sticky notes. We're also going to be asking you to kind of get up and mark up some sticky notes. You should have a pen in your bag as well, but we have a few extra ones lying around. So you may need to kind of write on your sticky note just to clarify what it means when you stick it up here. But the first question that we're asking is, it's kind of a big and loaded question. It's, what is the biggest transportation or mobility challenge that Hutto faces currently and in the future? And it can be anything. It could be the railroad, it can be Highway 79, it can be just general pedestrian mobility, a regional issue, but really what is the biggest issue? And so feel free to shout it out, but with this one, also grab an orange sticky note. And if you can identify that issue on the map, or even if you can't, just go and stick it up somewhere. Place it on, so if it's a particular roadway, whatever it is, go and put it on there and maybe write on this just to clarify what that issue is. And so we have it. Biggest transportation or mobility issue, yeah, or challenge. It's hard to pick one. Do it. Yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah. There you go.
This goes for all of them, the railroad
Okay.
crossings.
Okay. Very good. Got railroad crossings is one. And it's okay if you have the same response. That actually is pretty telling if it's the yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. 1660 south heading. Okay. Yep. Good. Okay. Still got one more. So far we've got Highway 79 at rush hour. We've got the 1660 south heading north with the railroad crossing. Highway 79 and Jim Cage intersection. The railroad crossings in general, and access to FM 685 from Enclave at Brushy Creek. So very good. I'll give another minute for y'all to, I can stick that up there. All right, fair enough. He's all right.
Another one?
Oh no, the rest are blank. He just has, yeah. That's all right. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So again, this also includes pedestrian and bicycle mobility, but it's really just what is the biggest issue that you see. We've also got transportation for the elderly and the railroad crossings at 79. So, one more. And pedestrian mobility north and south. But,
Going across the railroad tracks, people, it's not easy at all for those south to be able to walk to downtown.
right.
That's
Okay. Very good. All right. Thank you all. Good stuff. All right. So the next, this is kind of a few questions here. If you are a commuter, how many of you do commute outside of Hutto for work? Okay, a couple of you. what would make your commute a little easier? And with this one, you can just verbally say it. We'll just kind of take notes. This doesn't need to be a sticky note question. But what would make your commute easier? And is it a matter of public transportation? Would a bus or rail, or is it just easier access somehow? What do you see as a challenge with your commute into the train? Lack of turning lanes? Okay. Okay. Lack of turning lanes was what she said.
The rail lines, just the number of trains that go through in the morning and the evening
Mm-hmm.
when people are going to from work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, lots of bottlenecks. Okay.
Because other than that, I leave every morning from home every evening. It's not a problem. Except during that really rush hour time, everything is backed up.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. And just kind of verbally, are there any public transportation modes that you are open to or kind of lean towards, whether it's a direct bus or rail, or just kind of a park and ride? Any thoughts there? Just okay. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Leisure activities,
Mm-hmm.
light rail, rather than a high-speed rail going to San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
light rail going in Austin would be live in the suburbs, but in
Right.
weekend evenings, do things in Austin and come back out.
Right. Have a direct rail access into Austin, into downtown area or central Austin. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. And this will be a sticky note question, so grab a blue sticky note if you can. And where would, and I'll explain why I'm asking this question, where would, on this map, a park and ride be appropriate? Does everyone know what a park and ride is? Just kind of where you park and get on a bus, or in some cases a rail. Probably sooner for us will be a bus, but hopefully eventually a rail. Well, it could, either one, just a general park and ride, because a rail may eventually tie in with this, be at this park and ride station. And I'm asking this because actually part of this Project Connect, they'll be approaching the community as far as where do we want one. They're not going to come in and tell us where they want it. They're going to be seeking public input and approaching staff and the council on where there's going to be. I mean, obviously we have to have property owner buy-in and whatnot, but if we could get a general idea on where that might be. So go ahead and stick your blue sticky note up here if you have a thought or opinion on that.
Close to 130, either side there.
Okay.
Great
Great.
minds think alike.
There you go.
I'm going to be different.
There you go. There you go. Go on the north side. North side. The east side. Okay. 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 Right. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sliders. Thank you. Right.
Be a combined use where it's not park the cars located in a area or somewhere that might.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point, and that south of Wamsi. Yeah, it actually absolutely could be integrated into some kind of future development, possibly a mixed-use development where maybe there are residences nearby, other uses where they can walk, to the the co-op. Okay.
Anywhere, I guess that Hutto 400
Right.
is good.
Okay.
Parking right there, they can go in and out and use those businesses that are going to be there.
Right. Right. Okay. Good. And-
Yeah, the co-op.
yes. 79. Okay. If a park and ride were located at the co-op. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Okay. 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 Great.
But
Great.
and you're not wrong either. Having it, that's undeveloped would be a lot easier.
Hmm. Okay.
I would be more apt to park somewhere like that.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, it's both really good input because we've actually explored both ideas, both actually particularly the crossings property where y'all put y'all's and downtown. Um, so anyway, it'll be interesting. We'll continue to kind of flesh that out, but that's something we've kind of approached the developer on being open to, and they even wrapped that in the PUD as allowing for a transit station. But downtown would be an interesting idea as well. So we'll keep exploring that. So
I put that
south of the Y, okay.
as a reason was basically what we're talking about. That to me would be a natural area for development.
Mhm.
That's where our most recent development has taken place,
Hmm.
right out of that area.
Okay.
With Lowell being located there now,
Wines.
hotel facility
Yeah.
being located there, the
Mhm.
Lions there.
Mhm.
You've got Edgewood Boulevard, you've got
Right.
130, you've got
Mhm.
79,
Yeah.
you've got all of those access
Sure.
flows right there.
Sure.
And so if you put it in that area,
Mhm.
park
Okay.
and ride,
Yeah.
I think that would be.
It's kind of becoming a hot spot of activity. Right. Okay. You agree? Sure. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. And yeah, that's a good point too. Is kind of what it looks like on as far as parking lot and where a parking lot looks appropriate. So. Okay. All right. So on to the third question. It's kind of a multi-part question as well, but this one you can just kind of verbally say. We'll take notes. Where, if you walk or bike, either one or both, where do you currently walk or bicycle? Where do you comfortably go? What's kind of your range? Old Town, just you kind of stay within Old Town. Okay.
I go along Carl Stern across 6060 South,
Uh huh.
and then back. Yeah,
Where the creek or the. Okay.
to Quick Park.
Okay.
That's my.
Okay. So you take the trail, yeah, under the Conwood Trail. Okay. Right. Where you have that sidewalk infrastructure. Okay. Right. 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 Okay. Good. Okay. Anyone else on that?
I run.
Right.
There's really not a good place for me to run long distances.
Right.
I'm not in traffic wherever I'm going.
Yeah. You encounter traffic.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Unless you get outside Old Town, hiking bike trail, you're in traffic.
Okay. Okay. Any of you guys as far as?
I haven't run enough.
Once you get there,
Mhm.
ideally.
If you're putting an 8 mile run in,
Mhm. Yeah.
you're on Ed Schmidt, you're on
Sure.
Limmer Loop, you're on.
You can't avoid them. Yeah. You're gonna run into them.
You're running in the morning or the evening, and
Yeah.
that's when the traffic.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Right. 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 Okay. Okay. So that kind of leads us into the next question. This will be another sticky note one. So this will. Would you walk or bike? There were sidewalks or bike lanes or trails or whatever, or if just the environment. Sometimes it's not just a matter of having the infrastructure. Sometimes it's a matter of having shade. Obviously, it's really hot in the summer. If maybe a sidewalk area were more well shaded, or if it were just maybe a particular intersection might be a hindrance. If maybe an intersection was a little bit um, narrower to cross or a little bit shorter to cross, in other words, whatever the case may be. But where would you walk or bike more if you were able or if you felt more comfortable doing so? Brushy Creek from 685. Okay. Let's see, where are we right here? Okay. Good. For Brushy Creek, eventually, yeah, that is part to kind of regionally connect if you want to bike. The idea is if you want to bike from here to Cedar Park, you know, you'd be able to. Yes, Hutto Lake Park, or yeah, Hutto Lake. It's right here next to Lakeside Estates, right in this area. Is that what this is? Okay, more around 685 Brushy. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. hmm Okay. Okay. Great. And if it's more a citywide thing or multiple destination, feel free to write that or tell us. So we got 1660 south to Old Town. Great. And Hutto Lake to Highway 79. That's a good one. Just having a safe access from the park to 79. All right. Slower speed. Yeah. Right. Oh, yes. Okay. That's a big one. 1660 north, not having sidewalks. The speed limit being what it is, kind of a lower speed limit. Getting sidewalks on 1660 would be a good start. Okay. Right. Limmer Loop to Loop through Old Town. Loop through Old Town. What do you mean by that?
All right, we're out of time. So we'll hold everything on schedule. We're going to go ahead and send you all down the walkway. So y'all can go to the exit. Take those. This will be there. The next stations are there. Here, will be there. Thank with you. There were need for I want to shake Paul's hand.
Sorry, brother. I apologize.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Tipton. I'm with Hutto's Catering here in Hutto. I just want you to know that the first round of appetizers were from Hutto's Catering. Catering services all throughout Central Texas. And if you ever need a caterer, please feel free to give us a call. I hope you guys enjoy.
Good evening, folks. I'm Bo with Bo Specialty Meats and Deli here in Hutto. Tonight I'll be sampling some of our shrimp etouffee. We make that fresh every day alongside our crawfish etouffee and chicken and salsa combo and hot and cold deli sandwiches. We're open 10 to 7 every day of the week, and come see us as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye.
All right, let's go and get started, everybody. We're going to film this session so everyone be on your best behavior. As usual, you can see that you're sitting at the environmental table. And just to give you a little bit of background on it, the choices we make every day have an environmental impact. Our individual actions might not make much of a difference, but cumulatively, they all add up. The products you buy, depending on where it is manufactured and the materials with, and even your choice in how you impact to some degree. The policies and actions of our community as we develop will also have a significant environmental impact. The types of economic development that we attract can impact air and water quality. Our land we preserve for wildlife, and our building codes will impact energy efficiency and water use as well. Despite heightened awareness, America still leads the world really in terms of greenhouse gas emissions on a per capita basis. Consumers of water. Reversing these and individual efforts and lifestyle changes to make an impact. Tonight, we're going to discuss a variety of environmental concerns here in Hutto. You are helping set the table for future generations. Your responses are going to be used to shape internal operations and policies for the city of Hutto. The city council, we have two council members here right in front of me, sorry. Our city council values stewardship of our natural resources and enhancement of the community's appearance. Can everyone hear me okay? Not which way? Okay. Aim back this way. To that end, the city has launched a curbside recycling program back in 2006. Some of y'all may remember your first blue tote that came to your door. And we expanded that program in 2012 with the 95-gallon carts like you see here. The council also started the Keep Hutto Beautiful Commission to promote beautification and raise awareness of environmental issues. And we also have an employee green committee that works internally to promote green practices within the city of Hutto and externally to educate citizens through the greenhutto.com website, blog, and also through monthly green tips that we send out through that website. So the first question I have for y'all tonight is related to our curbside recycling program. When we introduced this program back in 2006, we had only about 25% of our Hutto households participating in the program. It was too hard to sort through the stuff. They had to manually carry it out to the curb each week, and so we didn't have very good information. In 2012, when we introduced the roll-off carts, we saw our numbers jump up to 65%. And now it's one of the highest scored services that we provide at the city of Hutto. We just did the 2014 citizen survey, and about 84% of citizens said they were satisfied with that service. It's one of our highest rated. But we still have 35% of households that aren't participating in the program. So my first question to you is, what are ways we can encourage non-participating homes to participate in the program? Yes, sir.
They had community before we moved here. They had a program where they would randomly select houses and they would grade them, which they performed, and then they would do well, they would grade them on the percentage of it that was actually first cycle house that was supposed to be there, by the amount that was in there, and then they would have like a lottery type of see all the time price given out.
Where was that? Just to ask.
Wiley, Texas.
Wiley, Texas? Okay.
And so they did that, for a few months, so they got people
Excited about it.
Yeah. It was
The different prizes they gave away.
different things like that. And so they would randomly select. They would leave a sticker on your thing if you were checked, right? So they would give you a little, green sticker. Hey, you met the minimum of the content or whatever, and so that you would know that you were in that month.
Very cool. Okay. Any other ideas? Yes, sir.
What's the city's goal?
The city has actually a goal of 100% by 2035. So we want to have 100% of households and businesses participating in the program. No. Recycle Bank program. So the city of Hutto was participating in a nationwide contest, and we were representing Texas. The Recycle Bank contest the Recycle Bank program is still out there.
but the city of Hutto is no longer participating in the contest. But people can still go on to recyclebank.com and earn points through different things. Mm-hmm. So the reminders were helpful. To check and see what your neighbors are doing. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. We do have single stream recycling. You can put anything in this cart. Well, the things you can put in there are paper, plastic, glass, aluminum, tin, anything that you generally think could be recycled can go in there. As long, you just got to make sure it's clean of any food debris or anything like that. There is not. We have the same fee established whether you take that cart and put it in your backyard and plant a tree in it, or if you use it for recycling.
My thing would be, let's survey the ones that don't. Is there a reason they don't? Do they not understand the schedule? Is there just knowledge-based impediments, or is it I just don't care? If that way, again, then we can tailor kind of what he was talking about with the some sort of kind of cool giveaway type that and identify correctly maybe the ones that don't as a way to get them to.
Okay. Right. All right. And move on to our next question. So question number 2. One of the city council's values is in the appearance of the community. The appearance we have helps maintain property values, attracts visitors and new residents, and plays an important role in sustaining our community. Developing a tree planting and care program is all that the council, as Mr. Bell here knows. So right in front we have a thing of stickers off of here, and we're going to place them on a map, and I want you to show me what do you believe areas in need of beautification. So to reiterate, grab 2 stickers off, and then based on the maps here, the colors don't matter. This map represents south of US 79. This map represents north of 79. But again, take 2 stickers and please show us where you think the beautification would be most impactful for the city, where it's most needed.
Well, I just think that if we can put trees up at the park, we can just make the park. So yeah. Well, then you start irrigation. Yeah, irrigation.
I need some stickers.
Yeah, no, we
Got some?
we're thinking of
Stick away, Mr. Guthrie.
no, the walking, there's a walking path that goes under 79 over here, right?
Here.
Yeah. I finally made it out there, and I was like, there's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, the trail.
Yeah, because where the trail path is underneath there.
The trail that runs down along the Meadowside Park.
Right, and then there's
It comes up under the creek right here.
underpass.
It comes up right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is north of 79, south of 79. So I use up your stickers yet? Come on, Mr. Grisham.
We're gonna run out of stickers.
This is not an old. Y'all good? Is that everybody? All right. It doesn't matter.
Did the dots have certain colors?
They don't.
Colors mean anything?
They do not.
Is it the same map for both of them?
No, this is south of 79. This is north of 79. All right. Move on to our next question. So, I want to reference you to this poster back here. I provided related to different environmental factors, recycling. Some of it's actually specific to Hutto in Central Texas. Here, and your for Hutto. So, or environmental. Each of you has a stack of index cards. So if you would write one priority on each index card, so each person has 3 index cards on your top 3 priorities, okay? I'll let y'all take them and pass them around. You might say we need to increase what we offer through our recycling program. We might need to address public transportation, air quality, conservation, protection of natural land, energy efficiency, water quality, water conservation, green buildings, anything that you want really. What do you think of the top 3 priorities? Passive, yeah, passive parks versus, yes. It's natural, preserving natural land, kind of that same concept.
I'm just going to put active.
Remember, use three separate things,
Yeah,
3 separate
that's
post-its.
number 1.
Okay. Used to most people just writing a word, so threw me for a loop.
Sorry. You never know me from writing words.
We don't have time to discuss that today. But yes, that is a big concern. Yeah, we'll bring it around here. I'll do it, Susan. Sorry. So they're ranked from number 1 through 3. So that's your highest priority. Put it on 1, and then 2 and 3. You can put them on top of the other ones too. It doesn't matter. We're gonna peel them off one by one and look at them. Everybody over here? You ready? You're gonna do a third? Okay. Over here? 1 priority. Huh? Oh, look at you. Look at you, Doug.
No.
Again, you can put them on top. We're going to peel them all off and look at them individually later. Okay. Did I miss anybody? John? Okay. All right, my last question's a thinker, so you got to think about this one. What should be the city of Hutto's role in addressing these environmental concerns? Should the city of Hutto play an active role in addressing any of these things? Or some of this need to be left up to the state or federal government or private entities, or what? What should the city of Hutto's role be? Hold on one second. Go ahead, Scott.
Some of it can be city driven. Reduction in fees to as an incentive to do something. There are going to be some things that are going to be state driven. City of Hutto can't do anything to control the ozone.
Right.
City of Hutto really can't do anything in the commuting without the state putting in additional
Infrastructure and dollars.
But the city could put in a park and ride share lot.
Okay. So maybe so to summarize what you're saying, it can occur on multi levels too. Okay. Get it something, Melanie? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Again, what should be the city's role, City of Hutto's role in addressing environmental issues? For example, City of Austin takes a very active role in addressing environmental issues. They have a whole department that focuses on watershed protections, building incentives, and green building practices. Do we want that here in Hutto, or does Hutto need to provide an education role or no role at all? That's what we need some feedback on tonight.
City's role as being key leader, the manager in the sense of bringing partnerships together, and while not necessarily having a direct role or the ultimate responsibility for the budget or the funds, but identifying organizations and groups, causes, and ways to bring different organizations together so that we all can achieve more. The city isn't going to have the capacity to do all that on their own, not for a long while. So it's going to be an imperative that we find partnerships. Yes.
City should facilitate those discussions.
Single stream brings in more material, so less of it is actually recycled. To make because I'm recycling, but I'm actually not helping the environment because a bunch of that's contaminated. Together. So I think that you actually being a good person, you need to do it right. It's not what you do.
Any other comments over here? You have any ideas?
I agree with them being active and initiating, and I would say, measured, right? I mean, pick one project for the year that's like you said, often that's a big group or a department that handles it. Maybe they can tackle 5 or 6 different issues, but focus on one thing, at a time.
And that's what this will help us do to see what is the highest priority. What should we put our efforts into? Okay. Okay, well, any other questions? We're about out of time, so I just wanted to see if you have any other questions. If not, if you don't mind, we're going to go ahead and bust your food and get you ready for your next group. I think this might be a good opportunity to go grab another refill. Doug's going to lick all the forks. Thank y'all. Y'all are going to transportation right next door. I'll take these for you if you're finished, okay?
Thank you so much.
I got them. It's okay. Thank you.
time taking the city. If you didn't answer your question or you want something else, please do that. I don't know about Gentlemen, I came here to get a card. You need a card? I'll give you a card. Drag your chair? Nice to meet you. Take it, okay. Bring her around. Well, I don't have to tell people about that. Good deal. If they brought their own chair, they can bring it. Yeah, they get some wheels. What are you doing? Hey, guys, like whatever you need. Let me have some cold up every place. No way. You have no other responsibility. What do you want to do? Your time. You have to no responsibility to make sure that they are so go to band, no other responsibility. What do you want to do? I want you to think about that because we have questions that relate back to what would you do or what improvements you want in your park system. So that you can do that right here. So,
Sorry, everyone. Okay. Am I good, Will? All right. Hey, everyone. My name's Erica. I'm the senior planner for the city, and we're going to talk about community development. I'm going to try to talk over Mike because he's a loud talker. Um, and so, yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. I will have an activity that involves the stickers that you see in front of you and also some drawing on a map. So get ready if you might want to be able to set your food down to come place some dots. This is the city of Hutto as it is right now. Our city limits is shown here in yellow, and it's about 8 square miles. We do have the potential to grow to over 51 square miles. That's the whole area shown here. So we have a lot of room to grow. However, we do want to make sure that we do it right the first time. Right now, we're just here. We have a lot of vacant land to grow, but the way that we grow really affects our property tax base, and that's primarily what we're going to talk about tonight, is the impact that development has on the property tax base. The property tax is important because that's how the city provides the services that we currently can provide, and also hopefully with the right property tax mix, we'll be able to provide additional services in the future that residents are asking for. So different types of land uses and development patterns generate different levels of property taxes. And so single family homes, for example, don't generate, we have a lot of them in town, but they don't generate the property tax levels that pay for them and the services that extend to them. Therefore, we have to have a good mix of commercial and other types of land uses in the property tax base to fill that gap and to allow us to continue to operate in a sound, financially sound manner. So we are going to dive into the exercise now with those things in mind, keeping in mind the importance of mixing up our land use. We are going to talk about where we'd like to see different types of uses. So first we're going to talk about apartments. That'll be denoted by the red sticker. The yellow sticker that we'll place on here will show where we want townhomes, so a different product. Townhomes can serve seniors, they can serve young couples who maybe don't want a big yard yet, they don't want a lot of maintenance on the home, just a different product than we have in town now. The blue will be mixed use, which is stores on the bottom and residential on top, something like downtown has and other parts of town have the potential to have. And then green will be places where we think it's a priority for people to be able to walk. We'll denote that with the green sticker. So really quickly, I'm going to get rid of the other group's page and give y'all a fresh start. So this is this group's map. Let's dive into it and go ahead and grab some red stickers and be thinking about where you'd like to see apartments in town. If you don't want to get up because you're eating, you can just point it out to me and I'll place the sticker. But feel free to come up to the map. Sure. So right now we are up here at the college. This is the downtown area here. This is Hutto Square neighborhood and the schools. This is, let's see, 1660 South here, 79 1660 North here in Hutto Park subdivision. The Riverwalk and Lakeside are down here. Hutto Lake Park over here. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, let's talk about red stickers now, which is apartments. Where do you see apartments in town? Okay. Would you like to come up, please? Please do. I know it's squeeze. Sorry? That's the high school. This is 79. Yeah, the college is right up here. Thank you, Kim. Close to the college? Okay. The new section of Carl Stern? Okay. Excuse me, I'll grab this marker. Yes. I don't want to make y'all walk around the table. I know it's a tight squeeze. By the college? Across the street? Like across Innovation? On this side of Innovation? That's fine. North or south? Okay.
There it is, right there. Lake Hutto?
Yes, Hutto Lake Park. Yes. Okay. I put that red one there. Yes. Okay. Why don't I put a couple? Over here? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just one red or one set or. All right.
I think there's going to be one there anyway. Where's Major Lane?
Could I? Yes. But, well, we are going to talk about walking too. So if you have some input on that, we can.
Talking about the entrance and exit ramp on Limmer Road. There's only two.
Yes.
You want to develop north of 79.
Okay, yes. When I get a space, I'll draw that on there just to make sure we got it. Okay. That means that when the land, it's currently agricultural land, but when it develops, when they want to build anything on it, it'll be part of the city. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yellow.
This, okay. Any thoughts on townhomes, where you see townhomes developing in Hutto? Well, these are clear stickers, so we can easily layer them. Over here, were you saying? Okay. I can see it. It's kind of invisible. I can see it. We can make a note, sure. Do you picture it being like should I put a red sticker or a yellow sticker? Like apartment style or kind of cottage style? Okay, where do you see that? Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Right. And we do have that coming on the crossing site. It's going to have a mix of apartment for seniors and also some cottages around, so people could choose the option that was right. Mhm. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Did I hear someone say townhomes near Fritz Park? I want to make sure that I have everything accounted for. Was that over here or? Okay. Great. Okay. Okay. We've got some more townhomes by the college area. Oh, so here, this is Limmer.
Okay. See, there's only ramps to the north.
Okay. So we need some here to get to Limmer from the south, from
this
heading.
Get off of the toll road from the south,
From
or
the
to go south on the toll road. You cannot do that.
Right. Yeah, it just ends right here. So a way to enter again?
Yeah, well, it needs to be on Lemon. Right here. See how this comes in?
Mm-hmm.
One right there coming.
Okay. Let's do
And then the same way coming off.
coming off that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Good deal. Okay. Yes. So let's talk about mixed use. Shops on the bottom and residents up top. Something like you'd see maybe in downtown, but it doesn't have to be downtown. It could be at the crossings. It could be near the college, whatever. Where do y'all think that mixed use? Yes, the co-op is actually kind of ready and planned to be mixed use development like that. So that's great. Okay. Carmel, yeah, crossings at Carmel Creek. Yes, 79 and 130 is that big vacant downtown. Okay. Okay, great. One by the college and one downtown? Or, I'm sorry, both downtown. I'm just kind of placing the downtown ones within downtown, not specific locations. Did I hear another one that I missed? Okay. North of Limmer Loop. Right on it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. So here's Ed Schmidt, where Emery Farms is. Do you see it being kind of there or east? Somewhere over there. Okay. Like here? Okay. Okay, and now let's switch gears again to places where people walk. So that can be similar to the mixed use place, but just kind of an activity center where you would see people eating at a sidewalk cafe, walking safely to school or to their shopping. Where's a priority place for people to be able to walk safely? Like a trail, a walking? Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a trails plan. Yeah. So, oops. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put that here and then write a note so that it's kind of a circle. Walking is a priority. So it could be sidewalks, it could be development that's oriented to people. Here. And then I missed one. Someone said, okay, yes. We actually had that in a previous section. To Limmer? Or okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Limmer here. It could be sidewalks or trails. Uh-huh. Okay. At what drive? Okay. Here's Cottonwood. Okay, on 1660 specifically? Okay. Okay, well, let's move on. We're kind of already into our next question, which is focused on connections that could be made. So a lot of these dots represent new construction that could add value to Hutto and make us a stronger tax base and a stronger place. But we can also enhance existing neighborhoods by connecting them to these places. So is there a place, for example, in one of the last groups, they said someone lived in Emery Farms and they'd like to be able to walk to the YMCA. So anything like that that y'all think of that you live in a neighborhood and you would really benefit from a certain connection, you can come draw it or you. Okay, and where's that going to be? Yeah. Okay. Would you prefer? Okay, is that this middle one? Down which one? We can mark that too. North?
But definitely 16 north of 79 past that.
Right here?
It's just too dangerous.
Yeah, we are working on that. Right, okay. From which, what are the east-west extents that you think are important on Limmer Loop? Just kind of. Sorry, I missed that.
Initially between the residential area.
Over to
Yes. Okay. Yes. And 685 is going to be expanded, and that's also going to include sidewalks. I can't remember which side of the street, if not both, but as one side develops, as either side develops, the developer would be required to build sidewalks anyway. So eventually things would piece. Impact analysis, and that might be something that they would trigger, but it's hard to say what kind of traffic levels they would generate. Yes. Right here. The trail goes
all the way around. And it's through the Carmel Creek or whatever they call that now, and then just bring it on around so that you have a full circle.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we are going to run out of time and not hit our last question. We were just going to talk about jobs, and specifically, yes, we know the answer is yes, we do want jobs. And specifically, if there's anything that comes to mind that is a type of job that you think would allow people to live and work in Hutto. So we've heard a lot of IT and technology related, medical, healthcare related, manufacturing, okay. Sorry?
Thank you so much for your attention. Just get to tell me something. Do exactly that. There you go. Bye-bye. So that absolutely hits the mark. Thank you, sir. Thank
So the answer is no. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mario Perez from Mario's Mexican Restaurant. There's something new that we're doing. What you're getting served right now are usually a good holiday treat. Those are empanadas. Empanadas are very kind of a very nice. We have pumpkin and pineapple filled. Joey, you only get two. But anyway, I hope you enjoy. We're open 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 2 evenings, Thursday and Friday. And also the menu is for reading, but if you want anything that's not on the menu, let me know, because I have it all cooked. Okay? If you see any HEB labels underneath the empanadas, don't tell anyone. Just kidding. Enjoy yourselves.
Okay. All right. While he's standing up and blocking my view, I want you guys to think of something. Yeah, down here, turn it off.
Much better? Okay. Boop. All right. My name's Mike Hemker. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director. Sloan DeBay is our admin assistant in our department. You cannot go home tonight without a number for our office. So if I don't touch on something that you want to know about, you have multiple items in your bag, and you have my card. 759-4000. It's the easiest number to remember in the city on purpose. I selected that number a long time ago. It actually was PRKS or PARD, but then we went to a whole new phone system. So I said 4,000. Easy number. Whoa. Sorry, I didn't mean to spit on you. Okay. While I kind of set up the table, I want you to be thinking about leisure time. Leisure time is time that you have no other responsibilities. You don't have to play with the grandkids. You don't have to pick up food at the store. You don't have to pay the bills. You have nothing to do, nowhere to go, and you can do anything you want. Money's no object. What do you do in your leisure time? Hold on. What?
Is there such a thing?
There is, but don't shout it out yet. I just want you to think about what you would do. Some people read books. Some people walk trails. And those are the only examples I'm going to give you right now. So that's what I want you to think about as leisure time, because we're going to talk about park facilities and what you do and what you in them. So I'm going to show you a couple of different maps and tell you a little bit more about our park system. Has actually been around for a long time, and I know we have some residents here that have been in Hutto before we ever had a Parks and Recreation department. What I'm going to tell you is the first official city park that the city's maintained was Country Estates Park. It is 1.5 acres. It's parkland that was dedicated to the city based on ordinances, requirements for developments to give parkland so that we had open space and parkland for people to use. Country Estates has no HOA. It's maintained by the city. Before our department existed, Public Works maintained it from '99 to about 2005. Then I had two guys, part of our department, they took it over. We've slowly made some improvements, but that park is nearly 15 years old. In 2005, we opened Fritz Park. In 2006, we started to update our master plan because we needed to know what was next. January of '07, we officially updated the plan. Council approved that, goals and objectives on how we're going to grow our park system. We've been meeting some of those goals throughout the years, but it's time to update it because Hutto was a different place even in 2006 and 2007 when that plan was approved. A lot of the people are still here. Those kids are older, if they had kids, or maybe they have kids now where they didn't have kids before, or they moved here because they don't have kids and they want to do things. So that leisure time I'm going to come back to and ask you about. This map is actually in the master plan. It's on the city's website under Parks and Recreation. Go to the web page, but this is a very large file. If you open it on your computer, it's going to take a long time to open. Don't freak out. But I'm not going to update it until next year when we do the whole plan. but you'll be able to zoom in at high detail and you'll be able to know. This shows all of the city-owned parks and facilities as well as HOA facilities and open space. So if you don't know what neighborhood you're in, or you know what neighborhood you're in but you didn't realize you had a park, you can find it. Now, this map is the same one you're going to see in a second, but I'll go back and forth between these. This shows all those city parks and HOA parkland. This map, not coordinated legend-wise the same, but for purposes of service areas, it tells you how big a park serves. Country Estates is 1.5 acres. It serves about a quarter mile to a half mile of residents. It's only that big. That's who it primarily serves. Generally, HOAs or developers put those in to help sell homes. They create HOAs to maintain them. The city doesn't want to maintain those kinds of parks because it's a higher burden on our staff to maintain and keep it up because it's much higher use, much more frequent. But we love taking care of Country Estates Park. It is our park. It's one of our parks, and our guys really love it. And we're slowly making some improvements, and we need to make some more. Fritz Park is here. You can see it on this map. It's north of 79, but its service area is this big. It basically covers all of town. A lot of people think that Fritz Park is a regional park. By definition, it is not a regional park. It is a community park. Regional park is something like Old Settlers Park, which is nearly 800 acres now. It used to be about 400 acres, and over the time they've added more land to it. Or Zilker Park, which is 1,000+ acres, I believe. But this map kind of tells you service areas for neighborhoods and those sorts of things, because people don't always remember. They think a Hutto or a Country Estates is a community park because it says that on the sign. I had people, residents in that neighborhood, say, well, yeah, everybody comes from all over town to it. And that may be true, but they don't walk to it. It's true service areas this big, even though somebody may visit it on occasion. But it is a public park, so anybody can come to it. In the last group, we had a gentleman tell us his favorite park was his neighborhood's park, which was an HOA park, but it was a problem because there are people coming, probably Hutto residents, maybe not, but they aren't neighborhood HOA payers, dues payers. And so by right, they don't have the right to be on those parks. And then we have the system to take them off. And he uses that system because he wants his neighborhood to use it. He's very proud of it, and it's great, but we want to make sure that the users, but it's our job as a city to provide parks for everybody, and different styles and different types and different entities. Back to the leisure idea. What do you do in your leisure time? Keep that in mind. So, looking at the time, my first question that I'm going to ask you doesn't have anything specifically on leisure time, but it has the question of, what is your favorite park in Hutto and why? What is your favorite park in Hutto and why? Hutto Lake. Why, Marianne? So, Hutto Lake Park, walking trails, great playscape, which was designed by kids. It's hills and things like that because they wanted to roll down hills. We actually used a Ray Elementary's 3rd grade class and a couple of 4th graders, and they helped us design that playground when we built it. And then you said also for bird watching, which we specifically had bird watching blind put in, but because of the water, it actually attracts a lot of birds from a lot of different places. I've met a couple of younger gentlemen, one is a kid and one's probably in his 20s, that are birders. He goes out there and he calculates and writes the birds that he's seen. I know Marianne's a birder and a photographer, and it's a great place to do that. So definitely. What else? What's your park and why? Fritz, because of the pavilion, the large pavilion. It's a great park. It's probably our most commonly said favorite park. And that pavilion, I'll tell you, is the largest open-air pavilion in Williamson County. Nobody's got a bigger one. It's 120 feet by 60 feet. Nobody's got a bigger one. We've got it right here in town. We've got 20 tables out there, and you can arrange them. You can rent that facility. The little blue flyer in your bags has our number. You can rent it. You can actually reserve it online. So, for your parks. Creekside Estates, this one down here, which open space. So, connecting trail, okay. So Fritz and Creekside connecting trail, you use it primarily for the trail? Okay, oh, all right, great, perfect. You all over town, you can get almost everywhere without ever going over Highway 79 or the railroad. And honestly, that's one of the biggest, most important things about our trail system as a kid. And I told the first group, I've met kids in Fritz Park that have ridden their bike from Glenwood. Through the connections of sidewalks, streets, and trails, they can get to Fritz Park without ever having to cross a major highway. They just go right underneath the railroad and 79. I can't tell you how these days that is such a big deal for parents, because how many of you used to ride your bike or walk all the time to go play ball or go meet some friends or do something, or we all did it. But this youngest generation doesn't really do that anymore. We have the capability of having that right here in Hutto. Anybody else got favorite parks? Trail system. Walking, riding, together or solo, right? Because you've got family and you cycle probably a little bit more solo, but we see it. Well, are you tandem biking?
No, we're not that good.
Okay. That's all right. That's all right. I'm sorry? Versatility. So what do you mean by that? Okay.
Yeah, like Easter egg hunt, movies in the park, when we do our concerts in the park. I mean, just the park itself is just versatility. We're able to do so many different things.
Versatility of Fritz Park, multiple events, community, specifically Easter, movies, concerts, those sorts of things. You'd have about an 85-acre park if those two were right next to each other. Water recreation is huge. Not the first group to talk about water recreation. Yeah, it's not Pflugerville Lake, but we can still do some things with that. And we've tried to get some groups involved with that. When we first opened the park, they didn't think it was lucrative enough. But there's some new people that I just found out about within the last couple of weeks. We're going to try to reach out to them and see what we can do for next summer to try to get people. We want to introduce them to it because we have the capability of doing it. Whether we buy canoes and paddles and then go out there once a month, or we get a contractor to come do it once a month for us, we want to introduce people to those things. So the second question is, this is where I'm going to go back to your leisure. What do you do for leisure? Now, let me remind you that I'd be remiss if I don't tell you that it's a Parks and Recreation department, but the library is also part of our department. So part of the leisure could be reading a book under a tree. When we do the similar presentation to kids for our youth and government, I remind them of that because there are a lot of high school kids that read books, and they want to do that. Now a lot of them are moving to digital books, and we have that capability at the library. But so you kind of know our park system. You've said what your favorite parks are and why. So what improvements would you like to see in our parks that you would most use? What improvements would you like to see in our park system that you would most use? So hypothetically, if you were a runner and an exerciser, you want an exercise station on a trail. But you could be a birder and there's something that you want, or whatever. So, yes? More benches around the. We actually have a lot of rock out there. We're waiting for the right Boy Scout to come around and create benches out of that leftover rock from the construction. That's the only reason why we've kept it. Yeah, it's on our project list for Eagle Scouts. Yes. Excuse me. Town Lake.
I love that. I love walking around. So whatever happened, we were supposed to
Okay, so it's still there. For the Brushy Creek Regional Trail System actually reaches from Leander to Round Rock. It has some gaps. The city of Round Rock and their voters passed a $74 million bond referendum last year, just parks alone. We're not to that bonding capacity yet, but which we would love, but they're going to fill in those gaps. The other cities or MUDs along the way are filling those in. We're on the tail end. Talk about stuff. Down here at Starmark Dog Academy, they're going to work with us to donate land for a dog park. Brushy Creek here. We know where Hutto Lake is, and we actually have filled in this gap with green. So we have the capability of creating trail down to the Riverwalk area. The plan is to create trail that links here. The crossings at Carmel Creek is going to donate multiple acres of land and build part of our trail system that will be our Hutto connection. Along that, and I'll be honest, I've been a lot of places along Brushy Creek, and I can't find a better place than this stuff that's all around 130. When that stuff develops and we have a trail down there, I'm telling you, there are boulders the size of all of these tables that you could go and then watch the creek. Now, granted, you're going to hear some cars passing on 130, but you're going to have a tree canopy down there that you can see all kinds of birds and all kinds of wildlife, and we're going to have a trail that goes through there. And we're going to work with that developer, and that's already in place. Those codes and those agreements are there. They are going to work with us, but they're going to, we will eventually maintain it. We'll maintain we'll have more of the public side. 4 minutes. I don't want to. I got real late, and then we can talk about everything. So we kind of talked about what improvements do you want to see. The next one's very similar to that, but instead of driving to another city, to go do one of your leisure activities, what leisure activities or facilities do you think we need to include in our park system? It's all open. Okay, so athletic complex of some sort. Okay. Okay, sports fields, athletic fields complex. Last group talked about skate parks. Even though they didn't want to do skates, they know that there's a bunch of kids out there that want to do skateboarding. They already do. There's a lot of economic development, and hotel motel tax money can help pay and build those and maintain them. But it's small, but it's in the Glenwood subdivision. Yes, it's right here. Here's the deal. It is less than an acre of land because the developer needed to do some parkland dedication requirements, old requirements, so he met the old requirements, but he said, hey, we're going to build this, we'll give it to you. It is located, and this is the better map to show you, it's right here. This is Glenwood subdivision, and it's a lot more filled in now, a lot more homes. There's no gaps, that's all homes. But this is Meadows at Cottonwood Creek. That development has an agreement with the city, 2 acres of parkland right next to that. And it's mainly floodplain, but we'll be able to do a lot of open space things, and the idea is to create more of a park. Now the splash pad will be engulfed into the overall amenities of that park, but right now it's ancillary. But we made that developer take out a house lot and put in a parking lot for us so that we have that. We don't have any restroom facilities there, but from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we turn it on and we probably crank out about 10,000 gallons a day at that sucker. It's free. You just walk up, punch it, and you're good to go. Now, we're paying for the water. Don't think it's free. We're paying for the water. Yes, sir. Camping facilities. It's a great item. And let me remind everybody, too, when we go to do the update to the master plan next year, I want to see all of your faces there because that's a great deal. We have a piece of land that we could potentially do that on. Basically, it's the Saul House property where our wastewater treatment plant is. We've actually talked about conceptual buffer zone. It's got land that goes all the way down to Brushy Creek, and we could have primitive camping. We could have RV camping. We've been getting a lot of questions about RV camping. Absolutely. And with the wastewater treatment plant, we could put a dump station right there and boop, take care of it. So it'd be a great thing for us to do. We got 45 seconds left. I don't want to forget anything, but don't forget, write group 4 on a sticky note. If you did not get to say something and you want to leave it with us, we'll put it. Group 4 is your group with us, and so make sure you give us a note. Thank you so much. But now, any other questions on any of those questions? You guys have probably already hit transportation, right? Did they talk anything about the pedestrian mobility plan? Okay, so that plan has a lot of those ideas and trails identified in that. Our park master plan also has that. It cross-references it. That's one of the things we need to do, is update that and highly identify the next steps. But our plan is to always go along greenways and large thoroughfares. Thank you so much, and I hope I answered all your questions. If not, give us a call.
Yeah. I love her in the carrot.
What's your mother's fault?
You're good. Okay, here comes the last course, the desserts. There you go. Okay. So this is an appropriate.
We're working out panna cotta. It's a vanilla custard with a little lemon scent to it. We have a coffee shop down the road. We have coffee, we have drive-through, we have full lunch menu. We are open Monday, we're open every day. The weekends 7 to 2, and on the weekdays 6 to 6. You better say your name. Thank you.
Yay. And so I'm really glad you guys are here, because I wanted my table to always be called Just Desserts, because this is the social equity table. So, and one of the things we're talking about when we talk about social equity is to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate and be a part of the Hutto community in the future. And so in order to do that, I'm going to take you through a series of questions that kind of talk about what we need to look like in the future, what's going to be important that we have and we don't have as we move forward. So the first part of this is actually a nodding exercise. So it allows you to eat the delicious dessert while I kind of take you through a series of pictures. So we're going to go through a series of pictures that are code enforcement violations. So I need you to tell me if you think it's a code enforcement violation or you think you would be just fine having this at, next to your house that your neighbor would be doing, okay? So again, you just have to nod if it's a code enforcement violation. Go, no, that's not a code enforcement violation. All right. So, and let me just say, these are all Hutto pictures. These are all properties in Hutto. You can keep eating. There's nothing that's going to put you off. But if it is your house or the property next to you or you know the person who owns it, you don't have to say anything. We'll just move on very quickly. So this is a property with tarps and actually has a tree going through the middle of the building. Code violation? Tree growing through the house. Trees growing through the house. Yeah, okay. So here we have broken window, no paint, no skirting on property. Code enforcement violation? All right, here we have a house that has enforcement violation. Here we go. So what happens when the wall pulls away is air's getting in, rodents are getting in, things are getting in and compromised because you have elements coming in from the outside. This is not trash day. So this is something that they just kind of like to do. So code enforcement violation, okay? Nobody wants that next to their house. All right. This is side of property, and so we call this high weeds and grass. Code enforcement violation? Yes, it's a side. And even if it were in the back, it's still a code enforcement violation because as long as it can harbor rodents, rodents are can be a health problem, so it would become a code enforcement violation. Okay, here we've got just a dead limb on the curb. Code enforcement violation? Right. It can't be picked. It won't be picked up because it's not bundled. It's not put into the 4-foot lengths and bundled. So it will stay there for a long time till someone moves it. Okay. This is a fence that has fallen down. Code enforcement violation? And this, PIY. You're my first resident that knows my PIY, parking in yard.
So there was a rumor that it was legal.
No.
No.
So, code enforcement violation, yes. Okay. So, one of the things that we're really concerned about and we've seen happen is we spend a lot of time from the city side on code enforcement doing a lot of education, spending a lot of time with residents who really don't know how to take care of the property or don't know that these are violations. And we always start off with education. That's very important. So if we find a violation, we educate them, tell them that's a violation and why. If they don't fix it, we give them a notice, and then if they don't fix that, we give them a citation. And as we continue to grow and as some of our homes continue to age, that's going to become a bigger part of what we do. So one of the things we're looking at is trying to pull back and go, okay, a lot of those people that came to Hutto were first-time home buyers when we had that giant growth, 7 to 10 years ago. So what is it we need to do to make sure that we have educated our first-time home buyers, we prepared them, because the last thing we need is a lot of homes going into decline, not just with code enforcement violations, but with just upkeep, and then having a lot of other problems on our hands, property values declining. So my question to y'all, now that you have finished your delicious desserts, is what is it that the city could be doing to help first-time home buyers better prepare themselves and better understand and know and be aware of what needs to be done? HOA meetings, okay.
Are you saying first-time home buyer, first-time
first-time home buyers. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell them this is the way it is, but I don't think it's just first time home buyers. You should be, oh, you're moving to Hutto.
Okay.
Here's the deal.
All right. Okay.
Because Austin obviously is going to have much different code violations and not be as stringent
Yes. Yes.
as Hutto.
Right. Okay. Good, very good point. Very good point. Yes. You're not a code violator?
Well, it's pride of ownership.
Right.
I'm not, I mean, I'm not younger, a younger person.
Right.
Doesn't know, I mean,
Yeah.
in the military, so I didn't buy a home.
Right. So are there any things that you think we should be doing that, you know, people prepare? Not, maybe not like you, but other people that might.
When you have a code violation, they just get a citation and say you had a branch on the sidewalk, or does it explain what it was, what the...
We usually try to actually visit with them before we do it, so that, again, we try to do the education. The goal is voluntary compliance. The goal is not to give everyone a ticket.
That right there, when I was growing up,
Yes. Perfectly allowed? Yeah. Depending on where you lived, it still is allowable. Okay. Good. Any other ideas or suggestions for us on what we can do to kind of, again, property maintenance is going to be very important as we move forward with the homes that were built during that time.
We as a community have to ask, and you know, I was in a first-time home buyer when I moved to Hutto, but you know, there's just such an increase in home ownership. I think the question is, do people really need to live? I mean, some of it is private ownership, like you talked about, but some of it I think is just nobody ever told them. You know, they didn't have that
Right.
conversation. So I think there's definite value in creating a small pamphlet or basic. Hey, did you know?
Right. Right. All right. One more comment, and then I got to move on.
National Night Out.
Yes.
We're always big about the police coming, the fire trucks coming, but what if
Our code enforcement. Okay. Good.
not as you're doing wrong, but
Right.
you know.
Good. Thank you. Good suggestions.
But sooner, we don't want to wait a year to just have one.
Yeah.
So can we do something more public where it's more flyers out there,
Mhm.
when they're picking up the trash, put on the trash bin. To accept, even though it's been in the newspaper, accept it, it's not about in the council meetings. You can call the code officer, stop by the code officer, right?
Yeah.
But then, it doesn't necessarily mean, and then sections seem to get away with it,
Mhm.
worse than others.
Right. And a lot of it has to do with whether it's an HOA or not in the neighborhood. All right, we're going to have to move on. So the next part I'm going to talk about is poverty. And you're going, well, okay, but part of what we need to understand is where Hutto is and make sure that we're a community for everyone. So the school district provided us with some very recent statistics. This is of September 10th. So this is our current fall enrollment of the free and reduced lunch program participants in each of the campuses. And so you can see based on, you know, probably where you live, which elementary is in your neighborhood, but the total for the school district is 48% of the students enrolled in Hutto ISD are on free and reduced lunch. And so, and what the school district has told me is that is a low number, they know, because a lot of families won't fill out the forms. They won't fill out and they won't provide that information for a variety of reasons. So they know this is a low number. They know kids still go hungry within the community because they can't afford a lunch, but they find resourceful ways to share and do some other things. Is this a number that surprises you as a resident here of that we're at 48%? What I find is that the system is to come. The demographics are going to look like in the future. And you have to wait for it. But the schools are a great barometer because they're showing you exactly what's going to be happening. And so one of the things the question we want to ask is, what are the areas that we need to be planning for in the future to ensure that we're supporting this reality. And it's not necessarily what does the city need to be doing, but as a community, what do we need to be planning for? What's going to be important to be thinking about, making sure that we have in the future? That is the question to be posed. Yes, yes. They pass out backpacks. Right.
There's also a backpack snack where, yeah, and you go
Right.
and
Right.
the churches, yeah, go back and forth.
Yes, yeah, and they do weekends. They do weekends. So yeah, that's but again, and we're talking about when these become residents. Have we made sure they have a good education? Are they prepared for a job? Are they going to be productive here in Hutto? What is it we need to do to make sure that happens? Transit. Okay. Excellent. Very good. This place, yes. Right. Okay.
And the numbers that you see right there too, in those particular schools, 51%, 55. My daughter goes to Hutto. 51%, 55%, 65%. Are you kidding? That's ridiculous. So, what do the grades look like is what I would ask. Because how do the children suffer? Whether they're getting,
well, the good news is that they're getting good meals, breakfast and lunch, and they're also getting school gets additional resources because of the numbers. So these kids, right? They are. Yeah.
There's also summer feeding programs.
Yes, we have a summer lunch.
I know that my daughters went to maybe Hawaii, and
Right.
there were people that came in.
Absolutely.
As far as even summer feeding, I was down in the valley, and there were signs at every Stripes, that the Brownsville ISD put up on them. Now that is, of course, funds. They got to spend the money to print the poster, but
Federal funds, right?
And there are posters.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any closing burning comments before I move to the last one? Okay, so we've gone from taking care of property to some poverty issues. Now we're going to talk about community wealth, not just individual wealth, but just the whole community. All right. So this is very basic math. Anyone can argue with it, and I could have done it a variety of ways, but I wanted to make it so simple you could follow along. So our budget for this year is $41 million. I took $41 million, divided it by our 20,000 estimated residents, and got $2,093. So basically, it costs the city, or it costs I'm costing $2,093 to live here. Now, average home value in Hutto is $149,000 this last year. So I took our tax rate that we have, didn't take a homestead exemption, so this is straight, easy dollars, and the average home pays $769 in city taxes. So if your average house has 3 people in it, you're costing the city $6,270, and you're paying $769. That is not atypical for a city. Communities always, residents never pay their fair share of what it costs to support the residents. That's because of this, because we have businesses in the community. And that's why when we talk about a community, you talk about the business and the residents. So I took our highest taxpayer, which you may find interesting to be Lowe's Home Improvement, and they will pay $61,802 just in property tax this year. They also are our highest sales tax generator because thanks to me and all the plants I have bought in the last 2 weeks, they got a lot of sales tax coming in. So just in property tax alone, they bring in $61,000 to our $41 million budget. And then again, the sales tax. So this is just basically to show that our businesses, which don't usually require a lot of they don't have code enforcement, they don't call the police, they don't have, they're just nice, quiet, tenants. And they generate a lot of money for us, so a lot more than the 61,000. So just to give you a perspective on costs and then what a resident pays. So then, very simple math again. I took our taxable value and said, okay, so how much of our revenue actually comes from residents? And so it's 76%. And the commercial value in our town is 21%, and then we have 3% that's still farmed. It's agriculture. And this is an important pie as we look at the future for Hutto, because we have a lot of space to grow into. We're not just our nice 8 square miles right now. We have a lot of space that we can grow into, that is ours to grow into. And so we need to know what it's going to look like in the future. We need for the community and the council to say, this pie is not right. We want this pie to be different, to support the community in the future, to be sustainable in the future. So the question to y'all is, what does our future pie look like? And since it was the dessert course, I think this is a very appropriate question. So is that 75-25 the right ratio, or what do you think it should be? And it's really your thoughts. I mean, it's just your ideas. And what would be 60? And you're saying 60 business? Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. All right. And you said 60 business. Why? What are your thoughts?
We have too many opportunities for growth business-wise along the board. Yeah, you're gonna have residential, but again, tax dollars coming in businesses. That's what I should be.
All right. Very good. Other ideas? Other ratios that y'all think? Anybody want to be 50-50? Thinking that's a nice split? Nobody wants to be in the middle? And certainly, one of the things that drives that will drive this commercial growth is density. I mean, the fact retail won't come until there's a dense population that they can serve. They can be assured that they're going to. So that's part of that part. But the other side is, again, that retail and that commercial pays a lot in taxes, again, to help subsidize everyone who's living there. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of how the reality is. So. Yes. Retailer, they're like lemmings. They're going to wait for one to go in, and then they'll all just come. So when we get it, we're going to get it. Well, a little bit, yes. But I'll respond this way. I attended a retail live, kind of a retail kind of center festival thing, and talked to a lot of retailers who could come to Hutto. I had one guy, Hibbett Sports. I walked up to him, and they looked at my name badge and went, "Oh, Hutto, you're getting a big box." And I'm thinking, well, that means we're getting Academy, because that's the next box to come in. So then I'm like, are we getting Academy? And they're like, no, they're not ready yet to commit. But because Academy might be here, Hibbett's will never come, because they'll get eaten up. So I use that to show what HEB is. HEB owns that land at Star Ranch, on that corner of Star Ranch. As long as they own that land, they are the threat to anyone else who might want to come in. So just by virtue of the fact they own that, it decreases our opportunity to do things. Yes. Right. We have another plan. Yeah. Yes. Right. Oh yeah. No. But we have a plan. We're going to get something. It's not going to be an HEB right away, but we're going to get something. So yeah. And we'll boycott. Yeah. But no, it's all good. So, but thank y'all very much for being here tonight, and thank you for sticking it out to the end. You guys were fantastic through this whole thing. So we really appreciate your input, and stay tuned. We're going to have more conversation later. So, y'all have a good evening. Don't forget to vote with your dollars. Yeah, use your money.
Well, Williamson County has been in Williamson County's Champion Park. Champion Park in Williamson County has buried in sand. You can think about Champion Park.
We have a 24-year-old, a 24-year-old,